Last time we had a little plot with Chaos Dwarves and Warriors of Chaos around Kolak, and the border deal between Warriors of Chaos and Skaven started to break down. In the rest of the world, the players are reaching their natural borders, and tensions are rising everywhere, but nowhere near as much as it is between Skaven and the rest of the world. The largest tension is in the north. The communication has effectively broken down, and a Warriors of Chaos army is now heading south in a direct collision course with Skaven. With Kolak as the main force, Warriors of Chaos create a third army to expand south and take the lands originally promised to them. Through the magic of Warriors of Chaos' sack economy, they raised 3 more weaker armies to make up for the quality problems of the Chaos early units, versus Skaven early game, which doesn't exist, since they can just build a tier 5 settlement and get all of their roster out early, and are only limited by the ability to supply them. Long story short, in the northern front, Chaos and Skaven are having a standoff. For a bit there, we should also talk about the rest of the world, considering Skaven and Chaos have been hogging the spotlight. Chaos Dwarves during this time continued their explosive expansion, but as the game shifts with AI starting to field higher tier units, those turn 1 hobgoblins are starting to struggle to push against the factions that they do worst against. Regardless, they have just been quietly building up during these first 20-something turns, and same can be said about other factions too. The only factions that are struggling right now are Bretonnia and Kislev. Bretonnia because Lustria is a bit of a mess of a continent, with Dark Elves and Lizardmen acting quite erratically. Despite this, Bretonnia manages to confederate Luen rather early and thus make a foothold in the Old World. Vampire Counts begin the long and arduous journey to confederate Vlad, who is second on their priority list after Gorst, because there's nothing funnier than Gorst zombie stacks just being thrown against your enemies, and costing you what is equivalent to a rounding error. With the rest of the world line up, the Chaos and Skaven armies stood face to face for the future of the Norscan region. This perhaps is the most important battle for Skaven, because if they lose, there will be nothing stopping Chaos from attacking not only their capital, but also their most developed settlements. For Chaos, while the stakes are not as high, this was still an important battle to secure further dark fortresses in the area. Both competitors lined up against one another, and after 2-turn standoff with both sides trying to ambush one another, we had a normal on-the-field battle. So let's take a look at this campaign's first great PvP battle. Quality versus quantity is going to win out. Currently, the auto-resolve is on Chaos' side. And the Chaos' plan is clearly to run through the Skaven lines and to occupy all of their weapon teams and prevent them from firing, while their superior melee will tear the enemy to pieces. However, they do not really have much of an answer to this many brood horrors, but we will see if the sheer impact of the Chaos monsters will be able to overwhelm them instead. And so the Skaven have deployed quite wide. They are firing on Chaos. They have deployed all their monsters in one field. Now I'd like you to take a look at the sheer amount of players that are on Skaven side. The crazy amount of micro that is going to go into this battle is just immense, and the micro defense already starts making a payoff with those Marauder Horsemen getting caught out of position, making Chaos pay dearly and force them out of their position. But Chaos is not taking it, because they will instead wait for Kolek to arrive. So we've got the Marauder Horsemen who have terror routed, and the weapon teams that are now firing on the infantry. Chaos Furies, in very strange formation, are headed towards the weapon teams as we speak. Thanks to the more players being on that side, we've got Brood Horrors intercepting them, and those Pack Dogs, well, they were summoned, and as such they are in control of Hunter, who has to control all the units at the same time. And so they themselves are getting routed, and Kolek finally takes the field. Now we have got 40 units on Chaos side on the field, with Skaven reinforcements arriving shortly. Now, the Dragon Ogres are taking the field. They are the answer that Chaos has against those Brood Horrors. Yep, those Trebuchets are doing a quick work off of those Marauders. However, those 3 Dragon Ogres should be able to do a lot of damage if they are ordered around properly. So let's take a look. Yep, we've got a full-on encirclement going around. With Chaos Warhounds being controlled by Korga, they are surrounding them. We've got summoned Harpies who are headed for a suicide mission. And is now having an envelopment against Skaven coming around. And the Skaven army has just taken the field and responding to the envelopment. Oh, that was probably not a good move for Chaos side. Yep, and now we have the Dragon Ogres getting divide and conquered in a way. They have realized that it would be a bait, and those units were not being unattended. With Gautrich getting Spirit Leeched, and units taking position against the Skaven hordes in a very basic formation. And you kind of have to do this one. Yep, locked units and just a massive charge. Now, it does look like a 1 unit, but after a formation is locked, it will choose the nearest units to attack. But I don't think that the Chaos actually got it through, despite ordering on the right time. And so, yep. Oh, the formation lock is becoming a problem. So they are reforming their lines. The Skaven are taking position while Chaos is still trying to form and getting a few shots. The Dogs and Furies controlled by Korga are taking pot shots at the enemy. I've got Dragon Ogres charging into that infantry, just decimating it. Get that massive, massive battle. The Rattling Guns are taking position and are now firing on the Chaos General. Chaos General is moving perpendicularly to dodge their fire, and they have realized what is happening, and Chaos is heading directly for them. Yep, Chaos is sending all of their Dragon Ogres to catch those out-of-position Brood Horrors before they can heal. Kolek is dropping his Lightning on those Storm Vermin. They take a little bit of damage, nothing major. Yep, we've got those shots coming in. Kolek coming in to take out that Brood Horror. And look at that Hero Ball by the Skaven is doing a ton of damage at that general. Now it's a fight between Kolek and that Hero Ball. Let's see who will win that battle. Another Spirit Leech going down. Yep, we've got... Ooh, the Chaos lines are breaking, even though a lot of the Skaven lines are not even doing anything. Those weapon teams are doing a lot of work right now. Those Globadiers are absolutely no joke, doing a ton of damage. And Kolek routes, despite being at half a health. Actually more than half, but he routed off the battlefield. And Severed Claws are coming in, fighting their ideal units, with additional units coming into the battlefield, just being ordered into a suicide charge. With the flanks fallen, but that extra micro, you see those Brood Horrors that would normally be killed. That is the micro difference, and this is why you do diplomacy in a long war, because your distant allies can help you in battle. And those Brood Horrors are carrying the day. You can see them moving around everywhere, engaging their ideal opponents.
Looks like the battle is mostly even right now, but still, the most importantly, Skaven have unharassed weapons teams that are able to take shots at the Chaos lines and do a lot of damage. And now the lines that were infiltrating the weapons, the Skaven weapon teams, are instead being killed off and routed around thanks to the terror that is providing. Oh, cellular instability that does a lot of damage right on that infantry. And yep, brood horrors just running around, regenerating, that are doing a ton of damage. There's only so much Chaos is able to do. And to be honest, their micro is quite subpar right now. But, at a big battle like this, well, the tensions are very high. So controlling your emotions become very important, even though it is not as big of a thing in a standard battle, because the stakes are not huge. But this is the battle that will determine the future of these two nations and perhaps the world. And so we are seeing it being decided right in front of us. The battle is still very close. A ton of abilities going down, a ton of furies being summoned on top of the weapons teams. The anti-infantry units of Chaos are now being engaged by those brood horrors and are doing a ton of damage. Those brood horrors are healing up far away thanks to their superior micro. The Chaos is playing 2 players versus 2. Oh, and those Rattling guns are taking massive shots at those Dragon Ogres, and now the Dragon Ogres are retreating. They are getting terror routed off of the battlefield with the Rattling guns getting clear shots at the Chaos forces right now. Chaos is getting a bit more reinforcements, but they're still way too far away from the battlefield in order to help. Those brood horrors are just sitting around regenerating while the Dragon Ogres are not able to fight their ideal targets. The Rattling guns are firing on those Dragon Ogres. The Skaven are now stabilizing the battlefield. Oh, with Kolek taking massive damage from that hero duo, from that Skaven hero ball, is going to have a significant impact on the battlefield. But yeah, having a superior micro up with Chaos losing their general, getting routed off the battlefield. Kolek is an absolute beast, but there's only so much you can do against one. Throt is also a powerful lord. Not only that, he is supported by his heroes, which is something that Chaos is lacking at this point of the game. We are only in turn 22. And yep, the Chaos General is routed off the battlefield. Will this cause the battlefield to turn? But the Severed Claw are heavily damaged. Now the Skaven lines are disrupted, but they still have massive advantage on their monsters, and they're chasing away Kolek. If Kolek leaves the battlefield, the morale impact on Chaos is going to be massive that the Chaos will not be able to recover from. And now Chaos has realized they need to focus on those brood horrors and prevent them from regenerating with whatever forces they have. Try to do as much damage as possible before the battle concludes. The Chaos forces are wavering. And yep, Kolek has just fell. The other general is also very low on health. It's only a matter of time before the rest of the Chaos forces are routed off the battlefield. They are using this little hero ball. And now the Chaos forces are on the run. With whatever they have left, they are trying to pull off the battlefield in hopes of surviving to fight another day. But those brood horrors, they are not letting up. As you can see, those throwing axemen are trying to finish off that Help It Abomination, hopefully to do some damage to Clan Molder that they will have difficult time recovering from. And yep, the army losses hit. And yep, the Abomination survives with 1600 health remaining, and that is a massive defeat for Chaos. And now Throt is open to move towards the Chaos lands, but this war is far from over.